Okay, so in this video now I want to quickly discuss wage differentials and the examples, real life examples of wage differentials, which is of course part of the course, and you have to use these examples when you are writing the answer. I want to cover all the examples in this one video, so please bear with me. The evaluation of the wage differential is not something that I'm attempting in this video. That is something that I will do separately. Okay. So in this video, then we are going to look at some important things like why film stars, for example, earn more than teachers, why men get paid more than women, why people in the north of England, north of the UK, get paid less than those in the south, and what is the basis of wage differentials between ethnic groups. There are these differences which exist in the real world, and we are going to quickly go over them in this video. Okay, so please keep one thing in mind. When we were studying about the trade unions, what did we say? We said that it is not possible for an individual to negotiate higher wages. Therefore, the trade unions do it for them. Well, that is largely true, but it is possible for, in certain situations, it is possible for an individual worker to negotiate for higher wages. And that is the first thing I want you to keep in mind, that unions do. But in one situation, in a certain situation, it is important. It is possible for the individual to negotiate a higher pay, and that is when the individual workers' MRP is high. So that is when a firm is willing to pay you more. The firm will be willing to pay you more. Why? Because if by hiring you they are able to earn higher revenue, then they are willing to pay you more. So keep that in mind. All right. And then we come to wage differentials. So why do differences in wages occur? They occur because of market imperfections, and there are five such market imperfections that cause wage differentials. The first is that we assume that markets are homogeneous. In reality, they aren't homogeneous. Okay, all MRPs are different. Supply of labor is different in different professions. Mobility between professions is not perfect as we assume. But most importantly, MRPs in different professions are different. So markets are not homogeneous. The second is that are wages the only factor that people consider when they take a job or they move into a job? No, they take other factors into consideration. But our theory previously assumed that wages were the only things. Everything, the supply of labor was, please recall the supply and demand curve of labor. The demand and supply was only affected by um, wages. That is not true in the real world. Okay, there are certain jobs which are so tough that where wages increase, people may still think twice about working there. For example, I've taken the example of uh, JAS, at the Jinnah Antarctic Station. Now, very few people know that there is a station called, a research station called Jinnah Antarctic Station, operated by Pakistan in the South Pole, on the South Pole, and it is in Queen Maud Land, East Antarctica. Now, scientists, if that station wants to hire scientists, okay, it's not necessary that by increasing the wage slightly, they will be able to attract a lot of scientists, skilled scientists, to go there. Why? Because the conditions there are extremely harsh. It does not suit people like us who are used to warm weather. So what will they do? They will try to increase the wage at a very high level. Okay, they'll pay a very high wage rate to attract workers to do their job. This high rate that companies pay in order to attract the workers to work in inhospitable conditions or difficult working conditions, this high wage is called compensating differential. I mean, the scientist working in, let's say, Karachi will get a different wage rate, but the one working for the government of Pakistan in Antarctica, the same scientist with the same qualification, may get a very high rate. Why? Because he is to be attracted to work in those conditions, and that difference is called the compensating differential. The third reason is, as I already told you, there's no perfect labor mobility. Just because wages increase in one profession does not mean that people will automatically move to that profession. Trade unions may push wages up. Monopsonies, they have so the trade unions are always working to take the wages up. Monopsonies are working to take the wages down. So this is again a factor which interferes with the normal supply and demand conditions that exist in a market. Please do keep in mind that wage differentials between men and women are real. Okay, why is that? Because the first thing about women is that, I mean, that is what is assumed, that women bring less stability to the job. They keep leaving to have children, okay, and it's like in and out of the job. And this is happening at an age when people are very economically active. When people are supposed to be economically active, women leave for this particular reason, for children. That is an important reason why they don't push as far into lucrative careers as men do. Uh, but there are other reasons as well. Women work for the vocational, the commitment element. Women work in the public sector. Now, please take the example of Pakistan out of your mind. Internationally, in the public sector, people are paid lesser wages because the government does not want inflationary pressures to increase. They work in the service sector, where again pay is less. Women do not have unions to fight for them. There is no union dedicated only to women. Women like part-time jobs. And over the years, the supply of women in the workforce has actually gone up. So when the supply goes up, the wages go down. So those are some. But please do keep in mind, despite these reasons, which are economic and social, there is genuine discrimination against women. Many people believe that women are still the exploited sex. Also, keep in mind that in certain places in the same country, for example, in the UK, the wage differential between those who work in London and those who work up north are high, and that is because of the restructuring of the UK economy. The people who are working in the north, their MRP is less because they are still working in the manufacturing sector, whereas most of the jobs in London have become service oriented. They have a service element, and finance and consulting, and those things have become very, very strong in London. So those people up north, they do not have the ability, or they do not have the skills to move to those jobs in the south. Their mobility is very low. Also, they're traditional people. They have ties to their families. They don't want to come to the big cities. That means that there is a negative multiplier effect. People are working in those industries which are not experiencing growth, so they are going to become unemployed. When they become unemployed, their demand for goods and services will fall, which will mean more unemployment in the north. As a result, the supply of workers will be more. MRP of the workers in the north is going to fall even further. That will also mean that investment in the north will be less. So both the multiplier and the accelerator effect will be less. Okay. Likewise, film stars and actors and footballers, they earn more than, for example, teachers. Why? Because think again in terms of MRP. You think about an actor like Shah Rukh Khan. His MRP is very high. Okay, a teacher's MRP is not very high. His MRP is high. Plus, he cannot be replaced with somebody else. There's no homogeneity. Every actor is different. Every footballer is different. Every wrestler is different. Every cricketer is different. People come to watch that particular cricketer. People used to come to watch Imran Khan play. They did not, if they found Malcolm Marshall in his place, that did not maybe appeal to the Pakistani fan. So, and the supply of these talented actors and these players is limited, and because of that, the supply curve is highly inelastic. Another thing is that people like teachers who are vocational and committed, they do not go on strikes to get their wages increased. Lastly, there's variance between ethnicities. Why? Because uh, because uh, minority groups who live in certain countries, even in the countries like the United States, Canada, the UK, they have lesser and poorer qualification. Now, when you have lesser and poorer qualification, what will happen to your MRP? Your revenue contribution to a firm will be very less. So your bargaining power once again falls. they have language issues, they have, because of the language issue, they have productivity issues. So they, and sometimes they are trapped. There's a dual trap for them. They are trapped in low paying professions like car cleaning or car service, those kinds of professions, and they are trapped in localities where demand for labor is not very high, economic activity is not very high, and they don't even want to move out of those localities. Why? Because they like to stick with their ethnic groups. And lastly, ethnic groups earn less because there's genuine discrimination against them. Okay, so I hope that this is understood why the wage differentials exist in certain markets. The evaluation of this I will do in the next video. Please do revise this, and I hope that this has been useful. Okay, thank you very much indeed.